Atul Puri now with us. He is the co-chairman of the National Council on International Tax at ASSOCHAM. Mr. Puri, obviously big ticket items for you. Angel tax is gone. International companies, corporate taxation has been cut by 5%. Your quick thoughts first, sir.
I think overall it's a very good budget, and which is going to impact the entire industry and the salaried employee at large. So there is nobody in the society which has been left untouched with this budget by getting the benefit. There was a lot of suspectability that whether the slab rates will be changed or not, whether the standard deduction will be changed or not. I think overall it has impacted every society, every sector of the individuals and corporates. Coming to the angel taxation, so just to give you an insight, as being part of the council leadership at ASSOCHAM, I represented the delegation before the Honorable Revenue Secretary as a pre-budget event where we were requesting them for certain changes, and we have been really feel honored that out of the large number of changes, at least 5 of them have been accepted and have been considered for amendment and modification in the budget. One of them includes obviously the angel taxation, which has been a very long litigation and a contentious issue for the startups, especially in the .com companies. So that is one point. Second is related to the TDS prosecution, where if there is a slight delay in depositing the TDS by the company, the directors get prosecuted. So to mind you, this is the only provision under the income tax where right now the imprisonment can happen, leaving aside the Benami Property Act and others. Under the Income Tax Act, this is the only provision. So relaxation of this was one of our core agenda, requesting the Honorable Finance Minister to either increase the limit or to completely abolish the prosecution proceedings. Third was related to the TDS restructuring of the rates, because there have been multiple rates which are applicable, and they are also creating a lot of confusion and lead to litigation. And fourth point was on the capital gain restructuring. Off late, with the continuous amendment in the budgets over the last 3-4 years, the capital gain restructuring was much required, because for financial assets, non-financial assets, there have been different rates, different time slabs, leading them either to long-term or short-term capital gain. So that's also a welcome move. And on top of all,
okay, so hang a second, Mr. Puri. You are saying that the capital gains restructuring, which has already been announced, or the ones you say that will be considered over the next 6 months? Which one are you referring to, which is the net positive?
No, the already which has been announced, where in case of long-term capital gain for a listed share, the listed scrips, the rate has been increased from 10% to 12.5%, but the minimum the threshold has been increased from 1 lakh to 1,50,000 rupees.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now, so let me get Mr. Gogia back into this conversation on that subject, because it's up his street. International corporate taxation down by 5% from 40 to 35%. Angel tax gone. Mr. Gogia, what impact does this have on actually getting international funds into India, investment into India, and of course corporate transactions happening into India?
I think this is a positive move, where the foreign investment and the foreign investors wanted certain certainty and in power. So they have reduced the tax rate for the foreign companies. They have also reduced the angel tax. And if you see restructuring the capital gain, or in next 6 months doing away or easing the tax laws, I think this will make Indian market more lucrative, and we'll see more investments coming into India in the next.
Okay, all right. Let me quickly get Sumit back in the larger thematic conversation which we are having, which is regarding youth and jobs and job creation. Sumit, I asked the fundamental question. Now let me ask the second fundamental question. Can we go and tell the middle class today that this budget has looked out for you?
Rishabh, honestly speaking, there's not much, because I will quote the Nirmala Sitharaman, where she says 17,000 rupees is what you save per annum with these reductions. That is 1,400 rupees a month. That is not definitely what the middle class was expecting. We have been trying to raise the points on, insurance of senior citizens and the GST applicable on that and all. standard deduction from 50 to 75 doesn't make a lot of difference, and the tax slab of 30% is slightly tweaked. There are some small tweaks, but if you look of a bigger thing, what we're expecting, the 4 crore people who are salaried in this country, well, unfortunately, that has not come that way. That is my take on it. We were expecting much more, and we were expecting that, even up to somewhere around 10 lakhs or something, 80,000 rupees per month, it will be kind of tax free, because the tyranny of the time is, Rishabh ji, you can be running a business. Let's say you have a revenue of 500 crores. Your 498 crores can be your expenses, and only 2 crores can be, used, it can be your taxable income. While as a salaried person at a standard deduction of 75,000 rupees, that means, and your cost of living or your jeene ka kharcha is only 6,000 rupees a month, which is not realistic in today's time. To live, breathe and all, you and me only spend 6,000 rupees a month? No, that is not the case. These are the things which we expected a big reform, and we're talking of the overall review of the income tax slabs. I was expecting something major to happen. I was expecting it might go into the Singapore pattern, where it will be quite simplified and will have incentive of getting more and more people on the tax net rather than these small tweaks. I think overall, when I'm talking to my friends and relatives and all, the middle class is not so gun-go.
Okay, so for people, and let me get Mr. Gogen, so for people watching the broadcast, let me qualify it, that the government of India has the data that within this current salary bracket, how many percentage of people and what are the real numbers of people that apply. So there is a huge chunk of people in every lakh rupees that the salary goes up, okay? And as you go higher, obviously reduces. So the tax slabs will seem odd. Why would you have a tax slab just from 10 to 12, then 12 to 15, then 15 plus? It seems rather complicated, because there's a huge chunk of people between 10 to 12. There's a huge chunk of people between 12 and 15. But on face value, it seems rather complex. So, Mr. Gogia, having put the caveat out there, what is this? Ki 10 lakh hai, to ye hai, 12 lakh hai, to ye hai. Why not have chunky tax slabs?
You see, if you see currently, only 60% of the people were attracted for a new slab rate. We had 40% still going by the old slab rate. Government wanted to make this newer slab rate more lucrative, and what the finance minister said, they want at least 75% people to opt for a new slab rate. We had 7 slab rates earlier. Now they have tried to reduce and pitch in more as 6 slabs for the new tax regime. Now putting that to a number, we have close to 6 crore taxpayers in that bracket, in this using these slabs. So you are looking at 6 crore taxpayer in a country of more than 130 crores people.
Yeah, and that is up 3 times.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, that's gone up 3x. It used to be around 1 or 2 crores of people who are paying taxes. Now it's 6 crores. And remember, of the 6 crores, not always are paying taxes every year. Some of them drop in and drop out of the taxation on a yearly basis. So why not go for it? The exchequer can probably afford it. You could have gone for the net loss to the exchequer is only 7,000 crores in a budget of 30 lakh crores. That's not the be all end all. So the exchequer could probably afford it, but why not do a more liberalized tax regime?
See, they'll go in step by step. If you're talking about the number of taxpayer, it used to be when taxpayer used to be more than 9 crore in last year. It reduced to 6 crore. The reason, because you have a 7 lakh rupees exemption limit. So most of the people are out of the tax net. So you again have a close to 6 crore in the last year when you have a new slab rate. So government is also looking at where they can have a minimum threshold where people can be out of the tax rate. They don't pay. It's a cat and mice game where they want to have more compliances.
Yeah, but let's come to the brass. Sumit, let's address this for a few minutes before I take a break. The brass tax is that 50% of the country, as it is, you are eliminating from the potential tax bracket. Okay, anybody who gets an agriculture income, or anybody who claims it's an agriculture income, okay, income might be from elsewhere, you can say I've been growing potatoes, is anyway out. So 50% is gone, okay. Beyond that, you are incentivizing the rest of the population to declare a lower income, not because the tax rates are high, but because all the other benefits you get is based on income. For example, in Delhi, if you want to get a school admission on EWS category, your income has to be less than 1 lakh rupees per year. I believe they've changed it to 2 lakh rupees a year now. Now, 1 lakh rupees per year is 7 to 8,000 rupees a month. Now it's about 20,000 rupees a month. So the person who wants to get their children into an EWS category cannot show an income of more than 2 lakhs a year. So they are not going to show you a taxable income, not because the tax rate is high, but for other reasons. Similarly, for other benefits like housing and other allowances, you are incentivized to lower your income. Generally, people didn't want to declare their income because the tax rate was high. Now the tax rates are being rationalized, but the people don't want, because they want to be in that category. They want to be in the EWS category because they get other benefits, they hide their income. So how are we ever going to get compliance on tax?
Rishabh ji, it's a very tricky situation because the fact remains, I will quote Prime Minister Modi what he said once. He said that there are only 10 lakh people who show income more than 1 crore rupees in 140 crore log.
Which is laughable.
There is no house, ek makan, you cannot find any house in any of the metros or the towns which have come up less than 1 crore rupees. So where does this money come from? Where does these kothis and farmhouses come from? Nobody knows. The challenge is that unless and until we are able to find a system wherein more and more people come under the tax net, today with the salaried people, there's not an option because your income is considered as your profit. While in the case of business, the logic is that you can have an X amount of income, your profit can be this much of the income. But here, the assumption is whatever you earn is your profit. So that is where the challenge is. Unless and until we kind of, incentivize the taxpayers, the scheme should be related to the taxpayers. What is the incentive of paying higher and higher tax? What is additional?
I'll give you an example of the best thing that you can do, and this is not advice, it's a joke. Okay, so I'm saying it tongue in my cheek, is to incorporate yourself. Okay, because today when I am conducting and earning a salary, I'm first paying tax on the salary, then I pay tax on everything else.
Correct.
However, as Sumit is saying, if I can write off all of those things, I can write off my laptop, my phone bills, my internet bills, my gadi, everything into that, and I can be running a loss every year. Okay. It is possible, but of course, this is not tax advice. Don't go by what I'm saying. I'm not a tax expert.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.